Hello friends, Tanya here with another video featuring some Spellbinders goodies. This time I'm going to play with the Sweet Serenade collection. This collection creates slimline and 4¼ by 4¼ inch square cards. This panel right here has an additional piece you can add that will create the score line for turning this into a note card instead of a slimline card. It's got this pretty scalloped detail, and I am also going to use the square that comes in the, which one is that? I believe that one is the Scalloped Symphony note card die set. So it's got a circle, a square, a fine detail circle, a die that cuts out that fine detail, the same with the square, and a little circle and a little square. So there's lots of components to this die set. Fantastically versatile. Ooh, I speak good English. I am using some polished brass Glimmer hot foil here with the Essentials Dual Lines squares because I wanted to add a little extra detail to this die cut square that I'm going to create. And that die will cut just on the outside of this particular glimmered square. I love the pop of detail that that creates. And you can see that it lines up beautifully with that glimmered outline. I'm just going to secure it with some of the best ever craft tape from Spellbinders. I use the same pieces over and over and over again until they fall apart. So I'm going to take this white heavyweight cardstock piece that I die cut with that scalloped and dotted panel, and I am giving it a good crease to create a note card. I'm going to layer that up with the square, and I'm also going to take that beautiful detailed circle image. Now that particular image took 3 dies to create, and I'm going to use one of the sentiments from the Sweet Sayings note card sentiments. There are several sentiments in there. There's a note for you, thanks, hello. I think love is in there too. And I die cut that with some gold foil cardstock. I'm using the Barely Art Precision Glue, which is my favorite glue. If you've been watching me for very long, you know that I use this glue almost exclusively. I'm going to adhere that directly to the foiled and die cut square that we've already adhered to the front of this note card. And I'm going to use the same glue to directly adhere this thanks to the cardstock, or excuse me, to the card front. I did layer a couple layers of the thanks together with some white cardstock. Next, I'm going to take some paper and die cut images from the October 2021 card kit, and you can get these as extras, both the You Are Stellar die cut shapes and the paper pad. You can find that in the description box below, links to those. And I'm taking this 6x6 piece of pattern paper and I'm adhering it to a piece of white cardstock because I want a little more weight behind this. It is a patterned paper, it is not cardstock. And I am using the square from that same die set to die cut that. Then I took some blue cardstock. I believe this is called Cosmic Sky from Spellbinders. It came in the kit from October 2021. And I am going to make that note card base the same way that I made it for the first one. I love that deep blue, and it goes perfectly with this pattern paper. That's one of the great things about their card kits. Now, I did check to see if that card kit is still available. It is not. However, the components, the pattern paper and the die cut pack are still available. Now I am using the square detailed element from that die set, and I die cut that from some shimmery gold cardstock. I'll have that linked in the description box below because I found that at a great price off of Amazon. And I'm just going to adhere that directly over our starry pattern paper. And I have a little unicorn here and a cool sentiment. and a gold foil moon that all came in that die cut pack. In order to create a little more dimension and add a little extra pizzazz to these die cut images, I did put a little coaster blank behind each of these before adhering them to the card front. Now there isn't much dimension on this card. The layers, except for these details, have all been directly adhered to each other, so it's not going to be super bulky. You can see a little bit of the coaster blank scraps that I have sitting up there. I use just pulp board coaster blanks and trim them out to create dimension. And they adhere with plain old glue. Now I also have some of these epoxy stickers from the October 2021 card kit from Spellbinders, and I am using the stamp set from that card kit. I had actually made these projects mid-October-ish and haven't had a chance to edit this video until today. I am going to edit and post this on the same day. Life has just been cuckoo bananas. I don't know about you. In real life, I'm a nurse and hours are endless. However, I want to get my projects out. So we've got this stamped sentiment for the inside of the card, and I'm actually stamping it on a piece of cardstock that I'm going to die cut and adhere to the inside of my card. Why am I doing that? Because A, it's a dark blue cardstock and it's tough to see, and B, because when you heat emboss on your cardstock, it tends to warp, and I really don't want my cardstock base to warp. But I find if you do a die cut element and adhere it to the inside of your card, the warping is minimal or non-existent. So I just used that same square die from the the Scalloped Symphony note card, which is all part of this same die set, and adhere that to the inside of my card. And I've got this cute coordinating sentiment for the inside of our card. It just completes the whole look. I love that. My heavy acrylic block is my favorite way to apply a little bit of extra pressure. I did also find this moon phases die cut element in that same kit and thought that would be adorable at the top of that white cardstock panel. Now the third card we're going to create is going to be using the Flourished Sonata note card die set, also part of the Sweet Serenade set. Also creates either a Slimline or a note card, and you can use the die that creates the score line in the middle, and there's little notches that tell you exactly where you need to adhere those to create a note card. I just have a, I think it's like a 4 1/4 or 4.5 inch piece of white cardstock that is 8.5 inches wide. No, yes, maybe 9 inches wide. Maybe I cut a piece of cardstock in half the long way. And that creates your note card with these nice beveled edges. But this card, we're going to create a slimline card. So I have taken the white cardstock base. I did fold that in half. It was 4 1/4 by 9. No. Must have been 4 1/4 by 8.5 inches. And I folded it and then laid that outer die so that the top edge wasn't going to get cut. Then I took the same die with the filigree center detail and die cut that, and then I took the inner piece and die cut a piece of cardstock that I had glimmer hot foiled with Aura. And oops, here, let's catch up. I have the Sweet and Snarky Glimmer set from a couple months ago, and I glimmered the happy birthday sentiment with that, which has a coordinating die, and I'll die cut that. That also was done with Aura foil, and I'm going to die cut a piece to glue behind that also. Back to that center piece, I had glimmer hot foiled that with the Slimline Confetti background glimmer foils, and that was released I think in like August, so I've had it in my stash for a little while. And I'm going to add more ink to this background. It was a background that I had lightly inked with a blue, I think it was probably the prize ribbon. No, I'd spritzed it. I'd added some water to a mister and then added some re-inker and spritzed the cardstock with it, and then it was just a piece that I had been toying with, and then I Glimmer hot foiled it with that Slimline Confetti Glimmer foil plate. And when I was assembling this card, I wanted a deeper blue. I wanted it to match that shimmery blue cardstock, which I'll link in the description box below too. I found that on Amazon. I found white, gold, silver, and navy blue, all at a very reasonable price. Now I am going to adhere all of this stuff together. I took 4 pieces of white cardstock and die cut them with this die to add dimension, because I'm going to put that behind the navy blue filigree piece, and then I'm going to put it between the navy blue filigree piece and that glimmered center piece, and that'll add some lovely dimension. You could adhere this directly to the card base. I thought I want a little extra dimension, and it looks lovely. I do really like it. Sometimes that high contrast between the filigree detail and the card base is a little jarring, but I think it worked out well with this one. Now I'm adhering that to the back, and it turns out that there is one way that works better than the other. It's not perceptively or noticeably asymmetrical, but it must be just a smidge. Or I don't know, maybe I'm just cuckoo, which could be the case. So I've got that adhered. I'm going to use my Misty to add a little extra weight. And I'm going to take this layered up sentiment. I believe there's 2 white plain cardstock layers behind the glimmer foiled part. And I'm going to put that Misty back on top. I'm just making sure that it's straight. And that is the front of that card. Next, we're going to take that note card that I created just before the Slimline card. And I cut a piece of white cardstock with that filigreed panel. And then we're going to take the Perfect Harmony note card embellishments. And we're going to cut out the flap looking piece. I'm also going to take the Hello, and I die cut that with some foiled cardstock, and I'm going to start assembling this card. I did die cut both the decorative elements and a piece of cardstock that I had used the solid foiling plate from Pink Fresh, and took a negative from the Slimline Confetti, and I had foiled that on a piece of scrap cardstock. And then I use that shiny resulting cardstock to create the background for this particular layered element. I'm just going to adhere that to its coordinating piece. I did trim off a little bit on both of these flaps because there is an area where you can actually create a score line and create an envelope flap with this die. I didn't need that part. I just wanted the decorative element part, so I adhered those together. I'm not going to put any extra dimension behind this. It is already 2 layers of cardstock, and we'll adhere that to the top of this card front. And then we will adhere the Hello in the white space below the flap. I'm going to use my reverse tweezers to pick that up. Oop, I'm using my eraser to get rid of some of the extra glue. And yes, you did hear me say oop. That is a distinctly Midwestern term, I'm told. What can I say? I am a Midwesterner. Well, Northern Midwesterner, almost Canadian. We're close. I'm closer to Canada than just about any other major area. All right, that is the last of the cards I created, and a little geography lesson. Tell me which of these cards you enjoyed the most. How would you use these dies? Do you have any fantastic ideas you want to share with everyone? I would love to hear it in the comments below. If you're not subscribed to my channel, now would be a great time to do that. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button and Here are a few more videos that you might enjoy. If you are interested in any of the product I used today, check that description box below. Until next time, bye-bye.